Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to be walking through activity 9-6 titled Using the Traceroute command. This is from the MCSA guide to installing and configuring Microsoft Windows Server 2012 R2. In my edition of the book, this activity begins on page 426. I have done a previous video very similar to this. This will kind of just be an addition to that or an expansion on that. So the first thing we want to do is open a command prompt, and you want to make sure you have connectivity. So we're going to go ahead and run a ping command to Yahoo, for example, just to make sure that we can connect to Yahoo servers. You could also use Google just to verify that you have internet connectivity. Then we'll just jump right into it. So the traceroute command will trace, just like it says, it'll trace the route from your computer, the computer that's running this command. It'll trace from that device through each router all the way to the destination, which is usually going to be a server. So if we did like a trace route to Google, it'll take a little bit longer than a ping, but it will show us each hop, up to 30 hops. So we'll let that run for a minute. And you'll notice that most of these are IP addresses, and here at hop 5 we actually have a device name with the IP address in brackets. Traceroute, I think by default, will try to get the actual names of the devices or the routers that it's passing through. Maybe in this case they have disabled broadcasting their names, so we're only seeing one right now. And so there's the end, which will be probably the last router in the path before I contact the server, or that may actually be the server itself. So it looks like that actually is the server. So let's try that for Yahoo. And here we're getting a few more names. Until we get down to our last device there. And you see that it did take a little bit longer to pull the names than it did really to pull IP addresses. So if you're not concerned with the names, and in most cases you probably shouldn't be, you can give the traceroute with the D switch, and that switch will tell it just get the IP address, don't try to query the name, and so your traceroute will run a little bit faster. So there's pros and cons to both methods. With the switch, it's a little bit faster, as we saw. Without the switch, we do get to see some of the device names, which can give us an idea of a geographical location or the ISP that operates the router. For example, when I've ran this before, these two were actually run through Boise, the 198.60.243. And so the device name was BOID, which is Boise, Idaho. We ended up coming through Seattle I'm not seeing it now, though. Ah, there we are. Sweeping from here to Boise, and then Boise ended up going up towards Seattle to communicate with the Yahoo routers to get to that server finally. So if you really want to see the exact route and maybe try to guess or estimate the path, geographical location, or whatever the case may be, you may want to leave the switch off. If you just want to test the route and get a quick response, you can use the switch and not worry about the names of the devices. It looks like that pretty much covers everything for this activity, so I will see you in my next video. As always, if you have questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave them below, and I will try to reply in a timely fashion.